have your drink with you. I had my tea. And today we're gonna share something that is very powerful. It's related to conviction. It's related to leading with conviction in a world that is going nuts about trends, about shortcuts, about buzzwords, basically a world that is leading with confusion, a world that is leading with mixed signals, and trying to give meaning for things that are not main in our lives, and trying to put the minor things as priority. So this is one of the reasons why character-driven leadership Café was birthed, is to stand firm in front of all the confusion that is going on around the world, to stand firm in front of all the misconception and all the lies that we are living today, the trends, the ocean of the 40s that I'm writing about, the world that is becoming as transactional, following trends, techniques, tactics, and never tapping into the leader's heart. So today we're going to talk about how to lead with conviction in a world that is compromised. So hope that you will be able to grab something today and equip yourself with something, reveal the character within, because this is the mission that we are on, is to help you reveal the character within. I know that there are some opinions or perspectives, I don't know what you call it, that they say that character is built. I'm not against that, but first, character should be revealed before being built. So, because every one of us have a seed, a good seed, and a character seed that need to be nurtured. That's a law, and we're going to understand this for more episodes to come, for us to understand that character is a seed that need to be nurtured. Because think about this simple concept. We were planted by God on this earth. And when we say planted, it means that this plant must grow. And then in order for us to grow, God will never create something for its beauty. He creates things, and he creates the resources to help these things bloom, blossom, and grow, right? So you have a seed, you have a character that need to be revealed, and that's why we are here for. Like we're gonna talk about leading with conviction, standing firm in front of all this kind of noise that is going on around us, and learn how to say no, and not for your boss, for all the confusion that is going on around you. So again, welcome to the character-driven leadership. That's the place where we will help you reveal your character, equip you with the things you need to know, and do our best to bring the right things into attention so we can take the necessary steps in order for us to lead with character. So that's all the things that we have to say. And in order for us to help you, we want you to join our Facebook group, the Character-Driven Leadership Cafe Facebook group. Join the community, contribute, engage, and everything. And also subscribe to our channel because it's starting with bites, tips, and advice, but it's going to go beyond that. It's going to have lessons, it's going to have interviews, it's going to have things that cures the leadership cracks that we're going through. So we want you to be part of that. We want to be a part of your journey, of your development, of your uh, growth. Let's say as a leader, as a character-driven leader, right? So we would be honored to serve you and help you in that regard. But we need you to tap into the group, the channel, engage, and talk. Just say, what do you want to hear more? What do you want to understand? Don't just follow trends because social media is full of buzzwords, full of quotes, full of people who want to look good, but they're leading with confusion without them knowing. We don't blame anyone. We're not saying that somebody is wrong, because at the end we are all operating from a certain level of awareness, right? So no one is wrong. There are people who need guidance, and that's why we are here for. I think Atala will take time, so I guess that we need to kick off. Dr. McKinsey, so what's your input on today's topic, leading with conviction?
Well, you're a lot nicer than I am, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna be the bad guy today. I think they are doing it, and I think they're doing it wrong. And I don't think that a lot of people, they unfortunately aren't seeking the um the knowledge or awareness that they need in order to be able to correct it. And you said something very keen that I am big on, and you talked about people being in the state of I think you said confusion. Correct
Hmm.
me if I used the wrong word. You said confusion. I use the word, and it's the same thing, but in the state of chaos. You have too
Hmm.
many leaders that are in state of chaos. And last week I asked this question, and I'm gonna ask it here, hopefully, if you'll allow me to. And I asked this
Yeah, go
question
ahead.
to leaders: Are you addicted to chaos? And we can even
Hmm.
use: Are you addicted to confusion? Are you
Hmm.
addicted to compromise? Because so many leaders or want to those that call themselves leaders want to live in the state of compromise, as we're going to be talking about today. And it has cost, and there's a cost to compromise, if you will. It'll cost you in your bottom line. It'll cost you in your health. It'll cost you in your relationships. Just those three things, and there's more that it'll cost you, but those are just the three top things that it will cost you in when you operate, not from conviction, but you operate from compromise, and you're willing to accept and do things that go against what your principles might be or should be. And that's why I was not. That's why I was disliked in corporate America, because I was
Hmm.
not willing to compromise who I was. I did not allow whether I didn't care if it was the president of the company. I didn't care if it was my manager. I didn't care if it was a supervisor. If I felt a certain way about something, I was going to make you aware of that. I was going to let you know, hey, no, I don't agree with it. I'm not just going, I wasn't, and I've never been, never will be, one of those people that just go along to get along, especially if
Hmm.
I'm disagreeing with something. If I'm standing 10 toes down on something, I'm standing 10 toes down on it. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm standing, I can be dead wrong, but I'm standing 10 toes down on it. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that can get you in trouble in a lot of places. In some places it can even, check this out, it can even cost you with certain deals. It can cost you having to leave money on the table, all of those different aspects of it. But we see, we know that there are people that are willing to compromise, and they're willing to compromise to get ahead. They're willing to compromise so that they can look good in front of certain people or certain places and certain things and stuff like that. And those that are willing to compromise, yeah, it's going to cost you. It may not cost you now. It may not cost you tomorrow, but in a way, it may cost you. There are a lot, and I hate to keep using this, but it's the perfect example for what we're talking about when we talk about leadership and compromise. You had the case that's going on with Diddy. There were a number of people that knew in that circle that knew things were going on, and they did not want to compromise their position. They did not want to compromise their salary, the money that they were making. There's one young lady, she was on the stand yesterday, or has been on the stand the last couple of days. Diddy was paying her rent of $10,000 a month, and he was paying her $10,000 a month rent so that she could be at his beck and call. And
Mm,
she was in the position where she didn't want to compromise having to have that pulled away from her where she would not have a place to live or
mm,
do things. So the question we're asking today, are you willing to compromise or stand on your convictions? And what it can or what it will cost you, either way, whether you stand on your convictions or whether you are willing to compromise, which way, whichever way that you go, that's the conversation we're having today. At least that's what I'm believing, Doc. So you tell me if I'm right or wrong with that.
you're 100% right. And saying that people are addicted to confusion and addicted to compromising, I think the best term is addicted to compromising. Because if
Hmm.
you see,
Hmm.
uh, most of those who call themselves, leaders,
Hmm.
they tend to create things that are tempting
Hmm.
for people.
Hmm.
So
Right.
they let them fall into the trap, and then they give them the option. Would you compromise this, or would you stand tall? And they will choose to compromise because
Hmm.
they don't want to lose the pleasure. They don't want to lose
Right.
the thing that they are living in, you know.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I 100% you're sure you're hitting on this point that people are addicted to chaos. They are addicted to confusion because they are addicted to compromisation.
Yeah.
So you are on point. You are on point. So especially this story that you're using, you know, he's paying the rent, so she will not think about compromising the
Hmm.
state that she reached in her life or in
Right.
her position or whatever. So
Yeah.
so yeah, uh,
And,
yeah. Go ahead.
no, and here's the thing too that I want leaders to understand too. Putting yourself in a compromising position, because some people put themselves in a compromising position, as opposed to saying, you know what, yeah, I'm not going to go that route. I'm not going to make that decision because I know where it could possibly lead to.
Mm,
I have an understanding of if I do this time, what's going to happen the next time that it may come up or that it happens again. If I'm willing to compromise in this, on this decision, then will I be willing to compromise on on the next thing that comes along? There has to be a conviction, a conviction or a stance on something. It makes it, to me, it makes it easier for someone to compromise who is already willing that first time to compromise on something, you know, and
no,
we as leaders, I think, face that every day too. So,
You know what? Now when you're talking, I just thought of using the because I recently started to play chess.
okay. Oh, did you? Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was on my it was on my list to learn,
Really?
and
Okay, okay.
because I believe in the game, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, it's incredible, right?
It
So
is.
I
It
learned,
is.
so I
Enjoy
learned
it.
how to. Yeah, I need to take some lessons. I need to,
Hmm.
maybe we'll talk about this later on, me and you. But
Hmm.
people usually we usually when we use chess in the business world, we talk about risks. We talk about the best moves. We talk about the goals, and we talk about. I mean, it teaches you things in the business world. That's no doubt. All right, and now like I thought about, let's look at chess from a different perspective.
Hmm.
You have to think before making any move. Like now you said something that provoked this idea in my mind.
Okay.
Think before making any move. If I got to this position, am I going to be compromising something in the future
Mm.
or
Hmm.
what?
Hmm.
Like it might be tempting. It might look as a move that's going to move me forward. But then let me think about it from a different perspective. Is this going to make me compromise something in return?
I love
So
it.
so that's a good point. That's a good point. You know,
Yeah, and
see, whoever learns chess, he's gonna understand life much more.
well, but see, that's the great thing about the game of chess. My father taught me how to play chess years ago when I was a young boy. He taught me the game of
Mm,
chess. And here's what I've learned about the game of chess. Chess is a thinking man's game.
mm,
And it's
mm,
one of the best games that is in a correlation to life. Because like you just mentioned, it has the dynamics of the pieces, understanding the pieces and what they do, how they work in conjunction with each other, how they do everything, how they move, how they can move, how certain positions can put you in certain positions, and how you made a key thought about it. It's not just about the move that you're making. It's about the
mm-hmm.
move after the move after the move. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. There's a movie. It's called Searching for Bobby Fischer, and I know you've probably never watched it, but it's called Searching for Bobby Fischer. It's about this young boy who is
I
learning
did.
to
I
be.
did.
Oh, did you? Phenomenal movie. I love this movie.
Yes. Yes.
But if you remember, and we don't want to blow it for it's an older movie, so if you ain't seen it by now, then hey, you know what, whatever. But at the end of the movie, him and this other young boy that he's in this tournament with, he's with the other young boy is supposed to be this great chess master as well. He's sitting across from him, and I know you'll remember it. And he's sitting and thinking about
Hmm.
two things. And he's thinking about the time when his grandmaster knocked over the chessboard. And he begins to look at the chessboard. And he says, "Don't move until you see it." And he sits there and he's sitting. And then there comes a moment when he sees not only the move that he's making, he saw how he was going to win the match. Gives his
Hmm.
hand
Hmm.
to the young boy, tries to give him a draw. Young boy's like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you talking about?" And all he says to him is, "You've lost. You just don't know it." And he was like,
Hmm.
and the chess master knew, he saw it. When he saw that, he knew what he needed to know in order to be able to win the match. And sometimes we don't see the move after the move after the move after the move that could put us in that compromising position that we're in. And that's why I love the game of chess, because it makes us think, okay, if I do
Yes.
this, what are the ramifications of me making this move? Does it compromise in the game of chess? Does it compromise the king? Does it compromise another piece on the board? Does it compromise the queen? All of those dynamics have to go into, or am I? Does it put me in the position where I can take my opponent's piece or whatever piece that do I put them in a compromising position? All of those things go into the game of chess. And as
Yeah.
leaders, we have to see what we're doing as a chessboard and the decisions that we make and the position that we put ourselves in and the position that we put others in that we're making a decision for, whether it be those that work for us, those that work with us, whether we're doing something that's a partnership or collaboration, and then even those that we serve. Are we doing what's best for
Mm.
them? That's what leadership does. Leadership will think in all of those areas and think in all of those dynamics.
So don't you think that we're using the right metaphor now to let people understand how important chess is to help them, understand the moves ahead? I mean, believe me, we're not scripted. We're just talking. We're just hanging out in a cafe. We're just talking.
Yep,
And I
exactly.
love like how we connect on things. It means that there are certain habits or certain things that
Mhm,
leaders do to understand life more and understand how to lead. And I wish that people understand this part. How chess really helps you understand what's the meaning of compromising? What's the meaning of making the next move? What's the meaning of standing firm? It's not just a game. That's
yeah.
why, this is the time when I understood really the statement, learn how to play chess, not checkers.
hmm Oh, you get it now, huh?
It's
You
not
get it
only,
now.
yeah, it's not only in the business world. It's
hmm
also in your personal life. If you just like, there's another statement that goes like this: Are you playing to win, or are
hmm
you playing not to lose?
Yep. And there's a difference.
There's a big difference.
hmm
It
hmm
has a difference. If you are playing not to lose, you're playing in a security mode, survival mode. You're trying
hmm
you're trying not to lose. You have this victim mindset, right? And
hmm
then if you play in this kind of thinking, like I'm playing not to lose, you will always compromise.
hmm
You will always compromise. And the more you will compromise, the more you will fall into traps that is going to make it harder not to compromise.
Yeah. 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 And I
So
think that
this is, yeah,
no,
go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. And then
Yeah,
I'll finish up.
this is the idea. This is the idea. Like the question is, how can you lead with conviction in a compromised world?
That's a that's a powerful question you came up with, man. I'm gonna let you know that is such a powerful question, and especially when you think about the world that we're living in right now. There's so many there's so many governments, there's so many organizations, there's companies and brands, so many that they're willing to compromise, um, be be in this live in this compromised world and compromise themselves, not even caring about their convictions or even what you said, what I believe is principles. And I think that those that are willing to compromise don't have principles that they stand on.
Hmm.
Because to me, if you have principles that you're willing to stand on, if you have principles that you are solid on, that becomes your boundary for what you will accept and what you won't accept. And you can walk into the decision, you can walk in this world and not allow yourself to be compromised because you have the principles that you stand on. I've talked about this all the time. I have a brand value system and I have a personal value system. Those two
Mhm.
things keep my business grounded. They keep my personal life grounded, and they keep me grounded as a leader because I always, my backdrop is always my PVS and my BVS. That's my backdrop. That's always what I always keep inside of me, what I keep behind me and in front of me, because I'm always making my decisions based on those two systems, and it makes your decision making as a leader so much easier. You don't even there is with me with having those two, there is no compromising, because if the decision doesn't align with those with my PVS and my BVS, hey, it's a no-brainer. I'm saying no to it. I don't care
Mhm.
what might be attached to it, what the cost may be, because my principles, my values are more important than what this world has to say, and compromising myself for the world's sake. To me, when you compromise yourself for the world's sake, you'll lose every time. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I believe you'll lose every time.
100%. 100%. 100%. What you just said is an answer for every person who is asking, how
Mhm.
can we hold ourselves accountable in front of all these kind of temptations?
Yeah, yeah.
How can we do that? I mean, I was in this position years ago, asking myself, there are a lot of temptations, there's a lot of noise. How can we stand firm? You know? And you always hear people, or you hear great minds talking
Hmm.
about walking the path of truth alone. Do you have the
Hmm.
guts to do that? When you answer this question, and then it's gonna, I mean, you start with one question. You start with one question, and one question will lead you to another question, and another question will lead you to another question. Because John Maxwell has a book. He said that
Mm.
great leaders ask good questions.
Let me tell
It's
you
not,
something.
it's,
Let,
go
let
ahead.
me tell you something. I just got that book from the library. I am reading that book right now. Great leaders ask great questions. How about that go? Or questions great leaders must ask, or something like that. But yes, I am reading that right
Great
now as
leaders,
we speak.
yeah, great leaders ask good questions.
Yes.
Now, I bought this book years ago, and to be honest, I
Did
did
you?
not finish the book. I
Okay.
didn't finish reading the book,
Okay.
because I was trying to finish books as much as I can. That was
Mhm.
like years ago. But then I learned that you need to master one book for you to understand how to read other books in a better way, so you can
Mhm.
finish as much as you can. This is another strategy, but maybe we'll talk about them later. But the thing is, life is about discovery, and discovery is about questions. We need to ask
Mhm.
questions. So the quality of your life depends on the quality of the questions you ask.
Mhm.
The things that you are going to reveal, the things that you are going to unpack in your life is based on the quality of questions you ask yourself. Now, I'm not trying to stand here as someone who's teaching. I am a student of what I'm talking about. I went through a lot of challenges. I had a lot of questions in my mind. And yes, I did mistakes. And yes, I fell. But I didn't let all these things come into me. I went out and I confronted all these things with quality questions that led me to the right and better questions that made me open new dimensions. Why we are saying this is because of what you just mentioned, building your principles. When you ask questions, why this is going on, what's happening in here, and you see that there's something wrong, don't go out there and tell people there's something wrong over here before you build your principles of why you're saying this is wrong. So when you talk to people and tell them that this is wrong, you're talking out of conviction. So first, that's why we say like you have to lead yourself first, right? When you lead yourself first, you start building yourself first and revealing your character through having your PVS and PVS, you know, so you can, hold yourself accountable and be standing firm in your territory, which is your inner self. Only then you will know what kind of moves you're going to do in your life, how you're going to reduce the number of compromisation. You're going to reduce the number of compromisation because you know where you're placing yourself. There's no problem if you did mistakes, if you fail in your life. The only problem if you know that and you keep on moving in the wrong direction. That's a huge mistake. Stop there, pause, ask yourself questions. Try to figure out why this is going wrong here. What is your conviction about the situation? Build your principles, your value principles, and then move on. I believe that this talk today, we're having it to help you understand that it's about your moves that is making you compromise things in your life. If you are afraid to lose something, then you didn't understand the message. You have to let things go for the better things to come in. If you think what you are standing on is right now, and this is you can't find any better, you're totally wrong. There is something better than what you have. People don't know what they don't know. Just let the thing that you're standing on go away. Don't settle for compromisation. Stand for your principles, and you will find something better. You have to do it afraid. Again, game of chess, there are risks. We're not talking about business. We're talking about movement in your life. There are risks, yes, but with the risk comes an opportunity. Because let me tell you something. Life itself is a risk. That's it. Life itself is a risk. So this is what I wanted to share. And I believe that you have a lot to share, Dr. McKinsey, about this. Like, what would you say?
Yeah, and I think so many people, you know, so many people are afraid of confrontation, so they're
Hmm.
willing to compromise. And as leaders, that's what you get put in the leadership position for. You, anybody can do the easy stuff.
Hmm.
That's not why leaders are leaders. That the easy stuff is the easy stuff. Leaders are leaders because the hard decisions that need to get made when they need to get made, and you as the leader have to be willing to make those decisions. Now, and you have to be willing to weigh the cost and not compromise, especially when you're talking about brands and you're talking about being an entrepreneur, you're talking about being in these leadership positions, whether you're working for a company or not. When you're in those leadership positions, you are there because you have to make the tough decisions that are going to either move, let's say if you're working in a certain section of the company, is going to move that particular area of the company forward. It's going to move it backwards, or it's going to keep it stagnant, keep it steady where it is. And you have to
Yeah.
be willing to understand the decisions that you're making has to be made for not. Here's something too. Those are the women they because of pride. Where somebody wants, they don't want their ego, they allow their ego to get in the way. When you look at the dynamics of world leaders, some decisions that they make are made because of their own ego. Those decisions are made, the compromises are made because they want to be able to get away with something. They don't want someone else to get away with something. So compromise, it's compromising in this world is the easy way out. I call it the easy way out.
Mm, mm,
The
mm,
difficult part is walking, leading with your conviction, being willing to say, you know what, in spite of what everybody else is doing, I'm not afraid to do this. If 10 people, if 9 people out of 10 say we're going to do this, are you that one that's willing to say, you know what, I don't think that's a good decision. I just don't think that that is right. And be willing to stand on that decision. Be willing to speak to that decision and be bold in making that decision. Strong leaders make bold decisions. I'm going to say that again. Strong leaders make bold decisions for good or for bad, but they're
mm,
willing to be bold in the decisions that they make. They allow their vision to guide them and not the compromise of the vision. As a leader, you can't be
mm,
willing to compromise the vision, your vision, the vision of your brand or whoever brand, if you're working for someone, their brand. You can't be willing to compromise that vision because I'm telling you, if you're working with me or working for me, I don't ever want you to compromise my vision. I will never compromise my vision. I'll never compromise my brand. I'm going to make sure that that's what I'm protecting. That's what I'm convicted. I'm standing convicted on. This is where we are. This is where we're going. This is how we need to get there. Now, if there are adjustments that need to be made along the way, absolutely. You do that. That's what good leaders do. But I'm not going to compromise the whole vision and where I say that where I believe that we're going and what my assignment is or what the assignment is. I'm not going to compromise that. Think of the military. When we think about the military, they have a mission. They don't
mm,
compromise that vision for anything. The mission is this. No matter what, we don't compromise that mission. Same thing with with use your business or your brand. You don't compromise that vision. Even as we've been talking about the game of chess. In the game of chess, you never want to compromise your position. You don't the object of the game is not to compromise the king. And sometimes you can, because if you compromise the king, the game is over. That's the object of the game. That's the object of the game is to compromise the king. You compromise the king where the king can no longer move. He can't move anyway. So the king is compromised. That's the object of the game. So you never want to, though the person that loses in chess compromise the position of the king. They moved in such a way that they weren't able to compromise their opponent's king's position. And so when you operate with that mindset and you're thinking about this world, you'll let the world do what it's going to do and not worry about, no, am I compromised? And that's the question that you have to ask yourself with every decision that you make. Am I compromising myself? Am I compromising my brand? Am I compromising my business? And you've got to surround yourself with people that do not want to compromise you, that are
yes,
going to hold you accountable and be like, dude, you
yes.
sure you want to do that? Yes, sis, you sure you want to go that way? Hey, I had a friend of mine that I worked with, and he used to say this. He said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. He said, I won't tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you what needs to be done.
Mm.
When you're standing 10 toes down on your conviction, I don't have to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you what needs to be done. It's up to you whether or not you want to do it. You choose to do
Yes. Yes.
it as a leader. And when you can walk in that and you have that particular mindset, man, it'll make your life as a leader so much easier. Trust and believe. Those decisions aren't going to be easy. Don't think that the decisions are going to be easy as far as, kind of being able to make them and stuff like that. But it makes you know that, hey, what I'm doing it for the right reason. And whatever happens,
Right.
it's going to happen. But I'm making it for the right reason, you know. So yeah, we gotta be willing to stand on our convictions in this world that will do nothing but try and compromise you at any cost. It will try and compromise you.
100%. 100%. Thank you for this input, Dr. McKinsey. Now, I'm going to ask you to give us, from your experience, before we close out, what are at least, again, we'll go back to chess. What are
Mm,
the the first three moves
mm.
that people can do?
I love it. I love it.
Man,
I love it.
people would think that we're scripting this show. What are the best three moves that will help people lead with conviction in a compromised world? Like
Yeah. Okay.
let's take it as an action step.
Okay. Sure. Here are my first three. One. The action step one is develop your PVS and BVS, your personal value system and your brand value system. You got to have those principles set, like you said. That because that's the foundation of everything that you do. If you don't have the principles, then you don't have any boundaries. You don't have anything to kind of keep you on on having a way of being able to think. So your value system, your mindset, your value systems, those go together to me. That's your first action step. Second action step is speak truth. Speak truth with boldness. Have a conviction about your conviction. If you believe it, say it as they say today, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Believe in what it is that you believe in. Like I told you, I'm gonna say something, even if I believe I'm dead wrong. I'm gonna say it with my chest. And if I'm
Yep.
wrong, then hey, I'll correct it. I'll be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking at that particular time. Yeah, I think this could be done this way. But you got to speak it with boldness. Speak your conviction with boldness, and that lets those that are trying to get you to compromise know, yeah, this dude ain't gonna do that. And a real quick example, and then I'll give the last one. In the Diddy court case, right? They had a witness. It was a security guard, and he said they asked him a question about he was offered some money to be able to give them the security video from the hotel where he
Mm.
was seen kicking and beating on a young lady. So the security guard who was offered the money initially, he was like, "Hey, that's above my pay grade. I can't do nothing for you." And so he got pushed and pushed and pushed. And he says he was like, "Yeah, I know this one dude. He's not gonna go along with this." So he
Mm.
knew that there was at least one guy that was not willing to compromise his self, and he was going to stand on his conviction of being a morally correct person. Do you have the wherewithal when they were offering, I forgot, I don't even know the money. I would think it was something like 20,000 a piece or something like that. Somebody's offering you $20,000 to say, you know what, kind of give me that tape so it goes away. Do you have the conviction? Do you have the moral conviction to be bold enough to be able to say no to that. That's leadership there to me. And last one, and you have to lead with your vision in mind. You gotta understand what's your vision, what's the ultimate goal that you're trying to get to, and be convicted. Be convicted in doing that. Be solid in going towards that, and don't be willing to compromise your vision. Those that are willing to compromise their vision, they are willing to say, hey, you know what? If certain things happen, hey, it is what it is. I'm willing to let it go. Or they're willing to say, hey, if you do this for me, yeah, I'm willing to sacrifice my vision in order to be able to get to this position. There have been many people who have done that in this world today. That's why this world is the way that it is, because of what people have been willing to compromise in themselves. Now, like I said, and you got to think about the end of that and how that's going to turn out for you. Because as we've said, those that are willing to compromise, more than likely, you're going to lose. May not be today, may not be tomorrow, might not be next week, might not be a year from now, but you will lose. So those three things: your values, your speaking with boldness, and leading with your vision in mind. I would say those are three action steps that you need to have in place in order to be able to walk in that conviction in this world of compromise that we have.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. McKinsey. And thank you for walking the vision of character-driven leadership, because our vision is to be a hub
Hmm.
for leadership awareness.
Yes.
We're doing our best to build the platform to help other people see the misconceptions, challenge the wrongness that is going on, become character-driven leaders, learn, grow the right way from the right people, and it's all level of awareness, And again, if we want to highlight on the game of chess, not every move or not every opportunity is an opportunity.
Hmm.
If you have an opportunity to move to kill a soldier or to kill whatever piece, it might not be the opportunity that you're aiming for. It might cost you a lot.
Hmm.
So I mean, I learned a lot from the chess. Anyway,
Yes, sir. Yeah. Welcome to the club. Yes, sir.
yeah. Thanks, thanks, thanks. I mean, yeah, I learned things the hard way. I learned things in my
Mhm.
life the hard way. And thanks God I learned the hard way, because when you learn things the hard way, when you make mistakes, when you fall somewhere, you're gonna come out of it strong and bold and lead with substance. So that's something great. We thank God for the mistakes and challenges that we face in our life. So again, we are here to help you grow. We are here to challenge the wrongness. We are here to make you reveal the character within. Join our Facebook group, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're going to go beyond the advice and beyond the insights and beyond the tips, and we will have more things to come. And we have an announcement, if we may say, that we are going to start having guests on our Table Talk Wednesdays. So make sure you stick around every Wednesday to the Table Talk that we're going to have. We're going to have strong topics to talk about, all circled around the center of leadership, which is character, because this is what matters. So we want you to take as much as you can, learn as much as you can from the conversations that we have, and of course, add it to your convictions, play around it, see how it serves you, and just lead from there. Start leading yourself first, then you will be able to lead others. That's how you become a character-driven leadership. Lead from your convictions. Build them first. Play the 3 moves that Dr. McKinsey shared with us, and you will see yourself flowing in the game of chess, and you will see yourself flowing in the leadership realm, and you will be leading from a character point, if we may say. Any closing point, Dr. McKinsey?
No, just that these conversations we have these, and I want to thank you, Doc, for doing this and have because we talk about this all the time, how there is a gap in leadership, in character-driven leadership today. And part of these conversations, we hope that this is closing that gap that we have because we want leaders to understand what it is to be a leader, those things that are needed in order for you to be an effective leader. Hopefully, these conversations you can take what we're talking about and you be like, yeah, I really understood that, and you can begin to implement some of the things that we talk about. That these give you something to talk about. You can go back and think of your organization that you are either a part of or that you're leading, and you can begin to utilize these strategies and these methodologies and the way of being able to operate to be that character driven leader that we believe that everyone that's a part of the group, that our group, this character driven leadership cafe should be a part of, and we'll begin to have these discussions all over the place, and it'll make for
Yes.
better leaders. It'll be able to make for better leadership all over, not just, it's globally, because there is a need for character-driven leaders globally. And so I'll leave with that. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll make sure that we put the link for the YouTube channel in the description here so that you can go there and you can watch the other conversations because those are there as well for you to be able to go back and watch. But we want you to subscribe. We want you to like it, share it, comment, and we want you to share it with another leader that you know and that you believe should be a part of these conversations. Because we want to hear from you. We want to hear what your leadership strategies are, what you think about being compromised in this world as a leader. All of these discussions are for you and to be able to make all of us better as leaders. So I'll leave with that.